Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one of science fiction's most complex and, frankly, ambitious novels, Iain M. Banks's Matter. This is a huge story about a galaxy-wide discovery, an ancient war, and a conflict that literally spans layers of civilization. Okay, let's get right into it. The story kicks off with a setup that feels kind of familiar, a political assassination. But from there, it just explodes into something that is truly mind-bending, challenging pretty much everything you think you know about the universe. So everything gets set in motion with the suspicious death of King Fardre of the Boyce Kingdom. And this one event, well, it triggers a vicious power struggle for the throne and starts to unravel this incredibly deep web of conspiracies. And right at the heart of all this are three siblings whose lives are just thrown into complete chaos. You've got Ferbin, who is convinced his father was murdered, so he flees to find help and get his revenge. Then his brother, Oramen, is basically forced onto the throne against his will. And then there's their sister, Djan Seriy Anaplian, who gets recalled from a life that is very, very far away.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This is not just your standard medieval drama. To understand what's actually going on here, we need to zoom way, way out.
You see, the Boyce Kingdom is located on something called the Sarl Orbital. And this thing is a massive artificial world with a structure that is absolutely central to the entire story. Think of it like a giant cosmic onion, right? It's made of 7 shell worlds, which are literally layers of civilization stacked one on top of the other. And each of these layers hosts a society at a vastly different stage of development.
So the highest, outermost layers are pretty primitive, but as you go deeper, you find these incredibly advanced, spacefaring species. It's just a brilliant way to show that progress isn't some straight line, because you have these wildly different societies existing side by side, and they're often totally unaware of each other. So you see this incredible, frankly insane structure, and you just have to ask, right? Who in the universe built this place? And are they just watching what happens? Or is there some bigger purpose at play here? Well, to even start to answer that, we have to zoom out, again, even further, and look at the major powers involved. And that starts with this hyper-advanced galactic society known as the Culture. Remember the sister Anaplian, the one who was called? Well, it turns out she isn't just a princess anymore. She left that life behind a long time ago and became a top agent for a unit called Special Circumstances, which is the secret operations division of the Culture. So, Special Circumstances. Think of them as the dark, pragmatic side of the Culture. They're the ones who get their hands dirty. They intervene in other societies, often using some pretty ruthless methods, all for what they decide is the greater good. And this really forces us, and Anaplian herself, to think about that very fine line between helping a civilization and just controlling it. It's a moral dilemma that sits at the absolute core of her character and really the entire book. So her return isn't just about some family tragedy or a local power struggle. No, her real mission is much, much bigger than that. It's about a secret that's hidden deep, deep inside the core of the Sarl Orbital. She's there to investigate something called matter. And we're not just talking about a substance. This is an ancient, mysterious technology, the very raw material of the universe itself. Its discovery makes you question whether our reality is even natural, or if it's all just part of some grand cosmic experiment. And of course, Anaplian's investigation quickly shows that the Culture is not the only power interested. Not by a long shot. You've got other species on the orbital involved, and, much more terrifyingly, so are the antiquarians, some of the oldest, most powerful beings in the entire galaxy. And this is where the scale of the story just goes off the charts. Prince Ferbin's personal journey to avenge his father, it's completely dwarfed by these cosmic power plays. His whole quest becomes this tiny, manipulated piece in a massive war over the fundamental secrets of the universe. So what does this incredibly complex story actually leave us with? Well, the book doesn't give you any easy answers. Instead, it raises these 5 profound questions that really just stick with you long after you're done. First, it makes you ask, is a society that's technologically advanced automatically morally superior? Second, it looks at the price of intervention. What's the real cost of doing good on a galactic scale? Third, it makes you wonder about the limits of what we can know.
Are there secrets in the universe that we're just not meant to handle? Fourth, it really digs into free will, asking if our personal desires are even our own, or if we're all just pawns in a much bigger game. And finally, it leaves us with the most unsettling question of all. Is our own reality just a construct?
If there's one central idea to take away from all of this, it's that the book shows how the line we draw between primitive and advanced is dangerously blurry. It really forces you to question your own assumptions about progress, about morality, and even about reality itself. And that leaves us with one final lingering question that really sits at the very heart of matter. It's a question about the Sarl Orbital, sure, but in the end, it's a question about us. Thanks for joining this explainer.